Welcome back. You're looking at a bird's eye view of the Antelope Valley near Lancaster. See those large warehouses down below? They are allegedly part of a vast network of illegal marijuana farms linked to drug cartels. Congressman Mike Garcia of Santa Clarita flying over the area, telling Fox News that law enforcement authorities are so overwhelmed with migrants at the border that they don't have any resources left to deal with criminals operating in plain sight.
And we are joined now live by first-term Republican Congressman Mike Garcia, whose district covers much of northern LA County. Congressman Garcia, welcome back.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me, Marla. Good to see you as well.
All right. So this is a problem that I think a lot of people didn't even know existed. So walk us through it. What'd you see from the air? What's going on here?
Yeah. So we were starting to get complaints from our constituents through our website, through our phone calls and mail about these illegal marijuana operations. And I think when a lot of folks hear this, they think of the mom and pop small scale operations. And so I went out to the Antelope Valley, and the local sheriffs actually took me for a flight about a month ago for the first time. And I saw probably 300 to 400 of these what look like nurseries, and they are surrounded by 10-foot high dirt berms. They're stealing our water. They're growing marijuana out there, selling each plant for about $1,500, and using, frankly, free labor in the form of indentured servant. These are illegal immigrants who have come across the border, stealing our natural resources. None of that money is actually going back into the community. I went up for another flight just this past week with the local sheriffs in Palmdale, and that number of nurseries has doubled. And the local neighbors, the citizens, are starting to complain about these folks threatening them, coming up to their houses, initially offering to buy their houses, and then ultimately threatening them in order to dissuade them from going to law enforcement. And it's a real problem, and it's getting worse by the day out there.
And you say that these illegal grows have been there for at least a couple of years now, and you mentioned that you were out there with local sheriff's deputies. What can they do to stop this?
Well, right now they're behind the power curve a little bit, and so there's a few things that we need to do. At the federal level, we need to secure our border. The folks who are working these illegal grows, and let me be clear, these are not small-scale operations. These are not legal operations either. These are large, illegal operations being run by transnational criminal organizations. The folks actually operating these nurseries are 90 to 95% undocumented illegal workers. So step one is to secure the border. At the federal level, we can also provide more federal funding through the Department of Justice to help local law enforcement agencies like the sheriff's departments to charge more overtime for eradicating these illegal grows. And frankly, just the awareness at the local level. We now have the support of Sheriff Villanueva, LA County Sheriff. I believe Supervisor Barger now is engaging on this, and the local electeds. We are all now collectively realizing how bad this problem has gotten. And the good news is this isn't something that we can't solve, but it does take a lot of resources. And eradicating this problem will allow us to then focus on the fentanyl problem, the larger violent crime problems that we have in the local area, and allow sheriffs to actually go back to doing their job. But we've got to nip this one in the bud sooner rather than later.
Let's talk about some of the bigger immigration challenges. We've had from the Bush administration, the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, the Trump administration, every time there's like, let's do immigration reform. And then it never happens. Is there an appetite in the Biden administration now to actually do immigration reform? And what would you potentially be willing to give on as some sort of bipartisan compromise to finally make something happen?
Great question, Alex. So first of all, I don't know that this White House is actually even recognizing this problem exists. Right now, I think step one is recognizing that our border is a crisis situation. It's a humanitarian crisis as well. It's not good for the people coming across our border. Look, I'm a first-generation immigrant as well. My dad came here from Mexico. He came here legally through the process. So I understand the value of coming to the United States, and every human being on this planet should want to come to the United States. But there's a process to do that. It's a nation of law and order. As far as what we need to be doing, and unfortunately, this is in this environment where everything's so toxic in D.C., no one's actually putting a bipartisan solution on paper. But we need to stop the leak at the border before we start mopping up the water that's on the floor in the form of illegals here. So stop and seal the border, secure the border, give the Border Patrol officers the resources that they've been asking for and that they desperately need. streamline our immigration process so that it doesn't take 10 to 12 years, hold businesses who are hiring illegals accountable, and then help those who are already here. But you got to do it in a certain order. You can't just give amnesty and provide DACA and Dreamers amnesty without first securing the border, because then you've just got a problem that is going to be now twice, potentially 3 times as big as it currently is if we don't secure the border first.
And getting back to your specific district, the 25th district, and those illegal grows out there, you mentioned constituents contacting your office with these people coming up to them and threatening violence against them. What do you want your constituents to know, and how can the community get involved to help?
First of all, the best thing you can do right now is to report these to the local sheriffs, to your local elected officials, our office as well. You can find us at Rep. Mike Garcia on social media as well as our website, and help us characterize this problem, and that'll inform how many resources we put behind it. Do not take matters into your own hands. These people are criminals. They are operating with more and more aggression every single day. We saw it firsthand. And just know that we are working this problem, and this needs to be a federal, state, county, and city level effort, a whole of government approach in order for this to be coordinated correctly and successful. And we are working this problem, and I'm encouraged by the progress that we've seen just in the last 10 days since we've been putting a bright, shiny light on this.
Let me ask you one quick question about a story of the day in California politics. That is Governor Newsom announcing today that there's a $74 billion surplus in the state, and that he wants to give $600 checks to every Californian that's making under $75,000. That's 2/3 of Californians will be getting at least one stimulus check, if not more than that. Do you think that that's a good idea?
So I applaud the state for having a surplus, but the reality is that there's thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of families who are still struggling. So if you're operating in a surplus, either you're getting too much money from the federal government from the COVID relief package, or you're taxing us too much. And I think in this case, it's both situations. So be good stewards of the federal government's money that's coming to the state. Give it to the people that need it, certainly the businesses, the schools, in order to reopen in the fall. But better yet, also, in addition to that, cut our taxes, Governor Newsom. We are way overtaxed. You, sir, are underperforming with our tax dollars. We don't need higher taxes. We need higher expectations for our elected officials in Sacramento.
All right, we'll end it right there. Congressman Mike Garcia with the 25th District, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Martha. Take care, guys.